here this time, joined by a dear special friend of mine, Christian Cyan Noodle. How's it going? How you doing?
Doing fine. Hanging in there. Woke up with a strep throat. Unlucky day.
Very unfortunate. Not nice. This is no good. No dog.
No dog.
This is not good. Yeah, no, it's been a while since I've had a guest on. Thank you for being the first guest back in a while. It's been a while in general since I've uploaded on this, but we're gonna ignore that for right now. But yeah, how's life? How's slaving away for the corporate empire that is, retail?
It's great. I show up to work.
Yeah.
I do the thing. I come home and then it's like the day didn't even happen.
Yeah.
Just vanishes from my mind.
It's purgatory.
Yeah, pretty much.
Unfortunate. That really be how it is in this here capitalistic America, baby.
Oh yeah.
But it's okay. We get to drown our sorrows with the money we make for slaving away, I guess.
As we do.
Say it, drowning our sorrows, I think it just makes our sorrows greater because we spend money and then now guess what? We don't have money. And you gotta work.
Yeah, I'm clean out right now.
The fallacy of being American, baby. But yeah, no, we I've known you a while. We play games, we watch movies, we do things.
Yeah,
we
couple of years.
What do you? Yeah, for a few, just
like
10,
a
few days.
Like a decade, actually.
Yeah, it's been many a long years, but we've been playing some video games. We play video games occasionally, and we have played many video games over the years. But there's one game that I'd like to start out talking about. I've got a little bit of a revamp this year that I haven't been able to talk about on this podcast yet.
Revamp?
We're talking none other than Counter-Strike.
Oh. That game.
Yeah, Counter-Strike 2, baby.
I love playing that game.
It's taken over. It's a good game. I enjoy playing it. It's very sad. It doesn't feel great to lose.
My cat decided to appear, so if you hear that, I apologize.
That's okay. That is okay. Animal noises are welcome.
It's more like he smashes his face into the microphone, so we'll see.
Hey, that's okay. But CS:GO, we were patrons back in the day, players.
Played it a little bit.
Yeah.
In the quad digit range.
I'm getting close to it. I'm close to 3/4 to 1,000. So 3/4 to 1,000 hours in CS. CS2 did the thing. If you guys aren't keeping up with the video game industry, or you're more into it and you listen to the intellectual stimulating conversations I have in this podcast and you aren't a gamer, I'll explain that they did an Overwatch 2, which means that they've just updated the old game. They updated CSGO into CS2, and that shit, it's weird. Why would you do that? I don't know. Just make me a new game. But
yeah, it's strange.
They just kind of...
I mean, it basically isn't an entirely new game. It's just...
Yeah.
They just pasted it.
They updated it. They pasted it over CSGO. Why? Let me just have CSGO. And CS2.
I don't know how
do I
great
have
of
to
a
pick and
decision
choose?
that is.
It was crazy. It was weird. I don't know. It's the same thing with Overwatch. I don't know why they did that with Overwatch either. That was weird. Especially since the first one you had to buy, and then Overwatch 2 is free to play. So it's the same thing with CSGO. The difference with CSGO and CS2 is if you bought CSGO and it updated to CS2, you get Prime, right? You get what is it called? It's Prime enabled. That means you get to queue with people that are less likely, or that also have Prime. And since Prime, if you don't have CS2, if you don't have CSGO and you have CS2, you can buy Prime to play with other Prime enabled players, or you get Prime if you have CSGO, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a wall to protect you from cheaters and stuff, but it doesn't work very well.
Yeah, people just kind of have to pay money.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a weird concept, but they did do it. But I mean, what are your thoughts on the changes that they implemented into in CS2 from CS:GO?
It's pretty.
Like,
It's probably the best thing I could say
yeah,
about it. It's definitely
it is a
gorgeous.
pretty game.
Smokes are neat.
The lighting, yeah,
Subtick, not the biggest fan, but
nope,
it is what it is.
yep,
That's about
yep,
it.
yep, yep.
That's my opinion on that.
What do you like the weapons? Do the weapons feel bad? Feel good?
Um,
Feel okay?
they feel fine now, but I think it's more just like a subtick thing that makes them feel
Yeah,
like dookie poopy.
yeah.
That's about it.
I feel
though.
that. I've been playing occasionally, as well, and the guns feel pretty much the same. They feel a little wonky. It's much. I feel like you can't spray nearly as good as you used to be able to in CS:GO. At least earlier seasons of CS:GO too. You know, like
Yeah.
I feel like they added some sort of bloom maybe, or that might just be on the subtick that you're talking about, the tick rate of the servers. I don't. Who knows? Who knows what it is? But some of the weapons feel good. Some of the weapons feel bad. I like shotguns now. I I always like shotguns in that game, but Zuimon with the Nova feels crazy. You can hit like jump shot headshots off Palace, not Palace, or yeah, off Palace or Apps and Mirage or something. It's crazy, crazy, crazy game. I enjoyed that game a lot, but it is not for the faint of heart. Yeah, the game makes me mad sometimes. But you know, speaking of games that make me mad, Nexus Blitz came out this year
The whole League of
for the
Legends.
first time in how long?
Uh, 2 years?
It's like 3 years.
3
Yeah.
years? Something like that?
That was crazy. That was a crazy time. It was fun though. Fun while it lasted. I think it's gone. Arena's coming back out. Arena came out this year and then it went away and then it's coming back again twice in 1 year. Isn't that insane?
I didn't try that out the first time around. I might try it this time.
It was okay.
Do you
It's
know when
fun.
that's coming out?
I think it might already be out. It's in PT right now.
It's in PT.
Mm-hmm.
Might have to download the PT.
Yeah, it'll be out soon. It's been in
PTR?
PT for like a week or something.
PTS?
PTR.
I don't know. Public
I
test
don't.
something.
Yeah. I don't remember what it was called, but they do have it on the testing server, and I think it should be coming out soon, like really soon,
Neat.
within weeks. So that'll be fun again, but it's a different game mode if you haven't played it. If you know what League of Legends is, it's, you know, to sum it up for those that don't know it, it's a bunch of champions that all have different abilities that are pitted against each other in an online battle arena. That's like it. But in the arena game mode, instead of doing a 5v5 with like a base that you have to protect, it's like two teams of two, like duking it out. Actually, it's like 4 teams of 2, but it's hosted in like multiple 1v1 scenarios. So it's like a tier ladder system or like a bracket system. It's pretty neat. It's kind of cool.
Interesting.
You get like different like items and bonuses and passive abilities and things based off winning and losing. It's very fun, very neat. It's pretty cool little game mode. It originally came out for the Soul Fighter event when they announced and was releasing more information on their fighting game. It's coming out soon, which looks also sick. You said you were excited for that, right?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna play the shit out of that. Can't wait.
They
That
released
looks
the
like a lot of fun.
They released the Nunu and Willem 3D action platformer or whatever it was. I don't know if it's a platformer. I think it's an action brawler. But like, that looked pretty fun.
I
if you
never,
guys are
never played that.
There's also the Wrath or the Ruined King, League of Legends Ruined King game that came out. That's about what Viego.
Was that a story
Yeah,
game?
it's Bilgewater. Yeah, it's like a turn-based semi JRPG, but not JRPG. It's like there's like a time. I don't. It's been so long since I played it, but there's like a weird time mechanic and like how you use abilities and things. Like each ability has a certain amount of time to cast, and you have to cast that based off like what your enemies are doing and how they're going to affect what you're casting and doing. It's a really neat game.
Seems cool.
It was pretty good actually. I need to go back and finish it, but it's just turn-based combat story game. It's two-dimensional. Kinda. I mean, it's kinda three-dimensional. You get. It's like isometric. You know, it's one of those.
Neat.
It's very, yeah, pretty neat game. Very fun. Combat is traditional JRPG though. It's like a flat 2D screen, and then people, and you choose your abilities and stuff. But the way you choose your abilities is a little different, and the way your abilities play out are a little different. It's interesting game if you're into story game, turn-based combat kind of games. You know. I had a homie talking to me about Planetary Annihilation the other day.
I haven't
I was
played
thinking
that.
about
I have
reinstalling
not
that.
played that game in years. I think I have a collective 100 hours on both games.
It's a pretty fun game. I remember playing it a few times.
I
I was
do.
never any good at it. I'm really bad at RTSs. I'm really bad at RTSs. I don't.
I mean, if you look up a guide, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
You kind of get the hang of it. Takes
Yeah.
a couple games.
You know what game I always really wanted to be good at? I'm gonna get good at like Europa or like Hearts of Iron.
Or like
something.
like
Like
a
a-
4X fucking
Yeah.
grand strategy.
Yeah.
Peter's
those games
really
look
good at those.
crazy. Yeah.
I've tried Crusader
Years.
Kings too, but I didn't know what I was doing.
Game's also confusing as fuck. The game is also up there on that list, man.
Yeah, there's
Um,
it's a lot to take in if you've never gotten into one before. They're
I mean,
cool though.
I played a few. Like I tried to play a few.
Oh, you played
going through.
oh shit, what was it called? It's the space one.
I played a little bit of Stellaris.
Stellaris. Yeah, that's like a good entry grand strategy.
Game makes my head swim sometimes. There's so much text and reading, and I used to like, believe it or not, the journalism major, the journalism major used to hate reading. I still am not too fond on it, but I can ingest information now. I used to just, when I was back in like primary school, like elementary and middle, like told me I had to read. That was like the worst news you could tell me. I was like, no way, I'm gonna have to read something right now.
I'm kind of the opposite. I used
drove me nuts.
used to love reading as a kid, and that is gone.
You know, I definitely have read more books in my adult life, or at least digested more information in the aspect of verbiage, I guess, because like audiobooks, if you want to classify those as well. But I mean, if we're speaking specifically reading, I probably read more books when I was a kid, but they were much easier to get through than the
Fair.
books that I'm reading now. Like, I mean, I listened to an audiobook of Dune all the way up to the 4th book in the series. God Emperor, I think is what I'm on. And I'm also reading through the Hitchhiker's Guide series. But I'm actually reading. The Dune is entirely audiobook.
I may make some noise here. Give me 1 second. My cat is
You're
being
okay.
Being an individual.
Do the Monty Python skit, the Holy Grail, where they're just, you know what scene I'm talking about? They're walking through the village. He says, "Bring out your dad, bring out your dad." There's like an old lady, standing on a staircase, beating the cat, like beating a cat against a wall.
I have returned.
It skits, so it's crazy. It's just meow, meow, meow. I've seen that movie so many times. Could recite that entire thing.
It's a good movie.
Oh, it is a good movie. Speaking of movies, I've been watching some movies recently. We watched for the
Watching a
last
little bit.
2 days. For the last 2 days, we watched the entirety of the Hunger Games movie.
Yeah, it was
series.
something. That's for
Yeah, there's
sure.
a new one coming out. There's that new one coming out. Takes place like as a prequel. I think it's the 10th annual Hunger Games. It has to do with Snow, the president of the universe. But let's do a quick rundown of our thoughts of each movie. Right? So the
Okay.
first movie, right? The first movie. What are your thoughts? Should we start out with a little synopsis
Sure. If you
before
want
we
to.
get into our thoughts? Yeah, sure. Okay. So the first movie, it establishes what the Hunger Games are, and it establishes how the districts and the government in this universe works. So there's like 12 districts, and all these districts have special jobs that benefit the capital district, right? And the capital basically makes this analogy. I don't know when they make the analogy. It's within one of the movies, but they make the analogy like how the capital is the heart, and the districts are like supplying the heart with its blood. But the thing is like I was thinking about that. I was like, how does it, you know, you got all these organs and veins and shit like everywhere in your body gets blood. Like the capital beats and pushes the blood out, but in the series, the capital controls all the nutrients. It doesn't like spread its profits. It doesn't spread its like goods back to the districts. The capital is greedy and holds on to it. So all these districts are like really shitty and run down, or like slave nations almost. And then you got the capital, which is benefiting from all these harsh living conditions from the other places because they'll be mining coal and then providing power, or providing food, and then they're starving, because all the food that they farm is getting sent off to whatever. It's this crazy world. But the first movie establishes all the districts and basically is like, hey, these things exist and they all funnel goods and stuff into the capital, and the capital decides, hey, every year, let's to exercise our power, let's participate in these Hunger Games. Let's have these Hunger Games where they take one person from each district except the capital, and they pit them all against each other in a free for all. We pick two people from each district, one man, one woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're not even man or woman. It's like boy or girl. They're like children. They're literally children that they're sending into these things. And it's, yeah. Anyways, so that's the summary of the first movie. What were your thoughts on the establishment of Katniss?
My thoughts on the first movie. It's a good movie. It's pretty solid. Laid down like
It is a solid movie.
solid groundwork. It's fun to watch. Led into the second movie really well. Good movie. Solid.
It does. It does.
7 out of 10.
I think 7 out of 10 is a good rating for the first movie. First movie is pretty good. They stick the finger up to the man. Say, hey, we don't want to die anymore for your entertainment.
Spoilers,
And
by the way.
yeah.
Anyone's haven't seen
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, there's some spoilers. Sorry. But
For
yeah,
a
no, there's a
10-year-old movie.
Yeah. Yeah. That it's just people sticking their finger up to the man, saying, "Hey, fuck you, man. You don't control us." And they threaten to not have a winner. And then they cave and they say, "Hey, I guess there can be two winners," because they came up with the suicide pact. The people didn't like that very much. The game makers didn't like that very much at all.
They stopped that from happening because
Flamebeard guy got.
Yeah, I think he felt like they needed a winner, but Snow is not happy about it regardless.
Yeah, Snow was pissed. Snow was very not happy. And what did Snow do about that unhappiness in the second film, Christian?
I think it was at the end of the first film, was it not? That they executed the man.
But yeah, no. But he did. But in the second film, he was mad that they had the two victors for
He's
the
not happy.
75th Hunger Games. So he decided in the second movie to have a Hunger Games with all the previous victors,
Yeah.
within a pool of a previous victors. So they bring him out, say, "Hey everybody, hey everyone, you know how you won, and you're supposed to live a life of like basically tranquility, like you're supposed to win these games, and then your life is set. You're just set for life." That was like the entire thing about this thing. Like it's crazy, but he just revokes that. He's like, "Yeah, no, by the way, you guys are just
You gotta do it
you're
again.
not safe no more. You're gonna I got to do it again.
Have fun.
This time against people who've already won." So like it's it becomes this
Pretty
crazy
messed up
thing,
situation.
and then yeah, it is. And throughout this entire time, there are plans in motion that are blind to some people, right? Like,
Yeah. The
um,
viewer doesn't
there is a
even know about
rebellion.
this.
Yeah,
Well,
literally.
Well, some of it, but most of it, not really.
Yeah. So like, within the first movie and the second movie, there are people who are kind of using Katniss, the protagonist, as their
Kind of like symbol of hope.
yeah, as a symbol of hope. They're like using them to their advantage to like drive the rebellion, right?
Yeah.
And within this second movie, you don't find this out until like the very end, right? There's like a bunch of things going on. There's a bunch of things in motion, and like you kind of yourself start becoming upset and annoyed with the way the government and everything's run in this universe. The second movie was a little bit more political than the first one because it was dealing with the aftermath of the first the victory of the first movie. So with Peeta and Katniss winning, they're now living a new life of like lies. Like it's like they had to like
Yeah, they had like a
lie about
fake relationship.
yeah,
pretty
and then
much.
they had to act on camera all the time. They had to study scripts, have like these like flashcards to know what to say. So like in the second movie, you start yourself like getting uncomfortable with this government. You're like, this is not good. This is shitty, and you start like kind of feeling the unrest that Peeta and Katniss have in the first place. They don't like it either. They're trying to run away. They're trying like Katniss isn't trying to necessarily run away with Peeta, but Katniss is trying to run away with Gale, which we'll touch back on Gale. Don't worry. But it's just I don't know. It drives that nail into the coffin, saying like, "Hey, this place sucks."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this is not a good place to live. And throughout the movie or throughout the games, as they get in there, President Snow starts cracking down. The entire reason these games are happening is so
Like the
Katniss, the symbol of hope, will die. And if she dies, now
just the
all
rebellion.
victors. Yeah, it's the rebellion. Like it's like all victors at this point are like contaminated by association with the one victor that was presumed as a symbol, right? So if that one symbol dies, that symbol can just be transferred to another victor because it shows this transitional period of like the rebellion starting, right? So you're looking at like you're looking at all this, and Snow's like, the only way we can really get rid of this person without having a backlash, like if we just kill her, like
you cause some issues.
people are gonna be pissed. Yeah, people are gonna be mad. So like you got to kill her and the rest of the victors. And what other way than doing that? Then what's the best way in doing that? Having a special Hunger Games, baby. So that he goes into that, and then they start start really, really getting mad at Snow, and somehow during this movie they plant the idea of like, I don't know, I don't. This is the one thing about the second movie I don't understand. Katniss had no idea that they were going to get out of this fucking dome if she shot this arrow into the electromagnetic whatever
It was
in the sky.
it was hinted at like way earlier in the movie when they when he was talking to, or when she was talking to BT.
In the training.
Yeah, where he was talking about the force field,
Yeah, looking at the shimmer.
talking about how much like power it takes, and then BT gets like obliterated by the force field. So she's like thinking to herself, why did that happen? And then she sees the spear, and she was like, that was not a part of the plan. And she kind of gets what's going on, where he was trying to break the force field, but fucked up. And then she did it instead. So I think BT was meant to break the force field originally.
See, I thought the entire purpose of the wires was to electrocute the water at the center at the bottom.
I think that was just to trick Katniss, because Katniss didn't know the ordeal, but like all of the other people did.
So it was just them fucking with Katniss's head, and then she was like, "Oh, there's an unsolved equation here," but the equation's like 2 + 2. Like, you know, like it's like, okay, I see. So they made Katniss unknowingly commit to their bit, I guess. It was. Anyways, It was insane. She shoots an arrow at the thing at the top that's tied to the electricity that's getting struck by, or it's tied to the tree that's getting struck by lightning, and then that fucking breaks this dome, and then this hovercraft comes in and just snatches Katniss up. Right now, progress to the next two movies, which we'll just talk about as kind of one, because it's a part 1 and a part 2. But Katniss is pissed for the rest of the movie. Like, for the rest of the series. She's just angry and mad and sad and doesn't get a break, to be honest.
Yeah, she's pretty miserable nonstop throughout the entire 4-movie series.
Yeah.
Like she's like 2 seconds ever of like being happy, and then never again until the end of the second movie.
Yeah. It's like, it's pretty rough, and her entire like purpose for even going to the games, or not even going to the games, but like her entire like thing at the start of the second movie, she told Haymitch, which is their trainer, that like Peeta is the one that gets alive, that comes out, makes it out alive. Like, if anything happens, save Peeta. If anything happens, you know, make sure he's okay. Don't like forget me, right? That's the opposite.
Yeah, they do.
Of what
they
everyone
do that,
did.
Not at all.
Yeah, they do nothing to help Peeta until like
Ages
is it the
later.
second movie? Yeah, it's literally ages, and
I think it's like end of the first part of the like third book.
yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, no. It kind of like turns into like an action rebellion movie at this point, and things kind of start tacking on, and it becomes moves and counter moves, is quoted from the movie.
Yeah, they said that a lot. Moves and counter moves.
Yeah. It's like it's literally just general war. Like there's a hideout with some like soldiers and peacekeepers there, and it's like the biggest one. It's their offensive unit, like place of, I don't know what they called it. It was just like a massive forward operating base for the peacekeepers, and it was like the forward operating base for peacekeepers, and they just decided to like block all the entrances to it. The rebellion did, and it pissed people off. But before this happened, sorry, I got chronologically confused. There, like, they keep driving in like Katniss's symbolism, you know, like
Yeah,
they're
they
really
do.
trying
They're
to
doing
strike
like
hope.
they're filming like kind of like fake videos,
Yeah.
propaganda, literal propaganda,
Yeah. Yeah, and they're just trying to recruit people
rebellion.
this rebellion, and they're like, let's send her to the war front. Let's send her to one of these districts that have been suffering, and they like film her in this hospital, right, with like all these wounded people, you know, and she kind of walks in there and just kind of looks around. She's appalled. She's like
So yeah, this is
holding back
horrible.
like tears. She's like terrified and like beside herself. She sees all these injured people, and all of these people are like injuring themselves joining the rebellion because of her. So she feels not only guilt but like shame, and she feels honor because all these people can see her. So she's really conflicted in general here. And she like walks in there, and people ask her like what is she there for, and she says she's there to fight for them and so on. And they go to leave the hospital, and they get news of some bombers joining or like coming to the area. So they're running around, and there's like some explosions, and they're hiding and stuff. And then they kind of get out of hiding after the bombers go out or go away, because Katniss takes out the bomber with an arrow. And then
It's like a
Gale
bomb
also
arrow.
takes it out. Yeah, there's
Shit was
a
insane.
bomb arrow and the bomb crossbow, and Gale helps her take out the two bombers, only to find out that the bombers hit their target, which was the hospital. Ooh.
Yeah, they killed
So-
so many people.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, everybody's mad. Everyone's dying. Everybody has a reason to fight now. And PETA was captured by the Capitol.
It was
Right.
when they popped the dome in the
Yeah.
second movie,
The games
they got
were ended,
Katniss
yeah.
out, but they didn't get PETA out, or like a couple other people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the Capitol got PETA and a couple other people.
Yeah, they got some of the previous victors, like Finnick. No, not Finnick.
No, Finnick
Did they
got
get
out.
Finnick? Finnick got out. Yeah, Finnick got out. But they got Annie. Annie was not in the games that year, but Annie was kept prisoner in the Capitol. Which was.
They got
Finrick's-
Joanna.
Yeah, they got Joanna, which was part of the games with them, and they grabbed what's his name too, the dude with the glasses.
They
But,
got BD out.
But that not Capitol. Yeah, not the Capitol. The
Yeah,
Capitol
the-
didn't get BD
the
out.
rebels.
But the rebels did. Either way, I'm getting stuck on semantics.
Yeah.
They PETA got like fucking laced with LSD, basically like tracker jacker venom, which induces hallucinations and immense pain. And he was basically just like was being given that shit and then shown like fake images of his life, and all of which were like
Horrible.
Katniss destroying him or something. So like they were making him like a weapon to just kill Katniss, which is crazy. So I think the part one of the last two movies ends with PETA coming back, them saving him and stuff, and Katniss walks in there, and PETA's like tripping balls and like almost breaks Katniss's neck.
He like
and
chokes
that's,
her the
like-
fuck out, and then she
Yeah,
can't
like,
like
insane.
speak for a while.
She's like crying and sad and probably in pain. You know.
The usual.
So
When you get your neck
yeah, the usual.
obliterated.
Yeah. And now comes the last movie, which is the invasion. They invade the Capitol. You know, they're actually plans are in motion and things are moving. You know, most of this movie is like just action sequences. There's not much development. You already know the Capitol sucks. You already know Snow sucks. You already know the president that is trying to assume Snow's presidency is a piece of shit too.
She's not a
Like,
great person.
Everybody's a piece of shit. Everyone's a piece of shit. Everyone's a piece of shit except PETA and Katniss. And even PETA's kind of a piece of shit. He threw that bread in the mud. Just saying.
Why
That
did
shit
he
was
do
crazy. I don't know. Katniss like sitting out there by the tree, visibly starving.
that? Eat this.
And this motherfucker decides to burn the bread so he can give it to her. And not only is it burnt bread, it's burnt bread covered in mud.
They even bring it up in the movies. Like I don't know why I didn't just go give you the bread.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know either, bro. I don't know either. I don't know why. But that was crazy. But
We were stuck on that the whole movie for the
it
entire.
was insane. It was so funny. It's so funny. But yeah, they just get into the Capitol and they start having these. They have game makers basically booby trap the entire Capitol so they can kill as many of the rebels as they can as they're coming in, and they definitely kill a few, you know. And PETA gets deployed to the front lines with Katniss
For some reason.
for some reason while he's still like fucked up, and he like tries to take Katniss out twice like
Yeah.
in these front lines, like so she's got like the entire Capitol peacekeeper force trying to kill her, and she's got like her love trying to kill her. like that's it's crazy. But they keep going, people die. Finnick gets got by the mounds, or by the not mounds, the mutts. The mutts, like these
Sure, like,
ghoul-looking
horrible
motherfuckers, nasty little things, and they just, you know, chewed through him real quick. A bunch of them devoured
He
him.
screams.
like
He
piranhas.
screams Katniss, and Katniss, instead of shooting a bomb arrow, blows up their only navigation device, self-destruct style.
Which is crazy, because like the next room they run into was riddled with booby traps. If she had that device, she would have known.
Yeah, it was.
Isn't
It was truly insane.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. They just ran through. They just ran. But they finally make it all the way to the steps. You know, the steps of the Capitol, President Snow's mansion. You know. And as they're walking up, they're hooded up. You know, they're in incognito, as one would say. And just as someone's about to de-hood them so they can verify their identification, make sure they aren't one of the wanted individuals, which they were, you know, an attack happens. The rebellion shows their face and starts attacking people, so attacking the peacekeepers at the mansion, guarding the mansion wall. And as this fight starts kind of moving up and medics start coming out and, you know, helping some of the injured, Katniss recognizes one of the medics. Who is it? Who is that?
It's her
She
sister.
asks.
Insane.
Her sister gets caught in the crossfire. And Katniss blames them.
Well, they
Snow.
dropped. Well, all right. So there was the Capitol ship that flew overhead, dropping parachutes, which they're like the little parachutes that they've been receiving for like Hunger Games.
Yeah,
stuff,
and the games.
which are like
yeah.
generally good things. They've been good things like the whole time.
So you get beep, 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 beep. You think it's like medication.
Yeah, and then they
Like-
fucking explode, and
they just
everybody
blow up.
fucking dies.
Yeah, a bunch of people die. Like which most of them were children, by the way, because they said children first into the mansion. So everybody's like picking up their kids, like passing them to the person like a convoy, or
Yeah.
like an assembly line up to the next person, and that person will pass the kid up to the next person. The kid just makes it to the front line, or the front of the gate. That's where they bomb, was the gate. So like all these kids and people just get bombed by these things that are assumed to be deployed by the Capitol, but are later understood to be deployed by none other than the rebellion to make them think, to make people think that the Capitol was doing that to their own people. But it was actually the rebellion doing it to make the Capitol look bad. And what happens because of that?
Katniss' sister fucking dies.
Katniss doesn't like that very too much. Katniss doesn't like that at all. What does Katniss do?
Katniss goes fucking bonkers. Upset for the rest of the
Katniss?
movie, which is not that long. It's not that much left on the movie.
Yeah.
Katniss is like shattered.
Yeah. She yells at her cat. Not her cat, but her sister's old cat. Throws a mug at that fucking thing, and that thing doesn't even move. Just kind of looks at her.
Stoic.
Stoic ass cat.
Stoic cat.
But, it's okay. Because Katniss fucking caps. Straight arrow to the chest. The president. The new president.
Yeah.
The one
They
that
wanted to do another Hunger Games.
the rebellion. Yeah.
Forgot to mention that.
Yeah, we did forget. The president of the rebellion was like, yeah, we got to do another Hunger Games, but this time with the Capitol's children. with the like really put them in their place. like
Give 'em a
it was like
taste of
some
their own
bullshit.
medicine.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And then some like bullshit
And,
thing where like this would cause the least amount of bloodshed.
I feel like the least amount of bloodshed would just not having any more bloodshed. I think that's just the
Yeah, it
most
was insane.
logical answer. But they did just kind of fucking kill everybody. It was incredible. I remember when those movies came out, and like, I don't know. It's just those movies are a wild ride. The like last two movies are significantly worse than the first two.
I really liked the first two. First two were really good.
First two
Second one,
movies
I'd say
are
it's like
good.
7.5, better than the first one.
Yeah.
And then the last two are
Third
like,
one,
in my
6.5 to
opinion,
5.5.
I'm saying like 5, 4
Yeah.
in that order. The movies were
Yeah,
not
they're pretty
good.
bad. They make a lot of bad decisions. Characters are making decisions outside of their characters. Like, got outside of their... I don't know. It's weird. Weird movie. Good movies, though. Kind of fun to watch. Speaking of watching...
We've been watching a lot of movies lately.
Yeah, we've been watching a lot of movies, but we've also been watching The Office.
God,
This is your first time watching
God.
through The Office.
I just want it
How do
to
you like
end.
Yeah.
This is all I want. I just want it to be over, man. It's so fucking long.
It is a long show. We're almost done, though. We're final season, episode like 14. or
No,
something.
we're in the second to last season, and
Oh,
the
not
final season's
Yeah, the final season.
even
the second to
longer.
last season. Yeah. Yeah, only by 2 episodes. Only by 2 episodes, but I believe in us. We can get through it. We're this close. We got.
Oh, I believe in
What,
us.
what did you say? What did you say you wanted to watch the next? Next, you said you wanted to watch.
Always Sunny. Never
yeah,
seen Always Sunny.
I've never seen that either.
Heard a lot of good about that show. More good than The Office. Usually, Office is like love hate. I've only really heard good things about Always Sunny.
No, I'm excited for that. Daddy DeVito is in there. Luigi from the Mario movie. Charlie.
You can just call him Charlie Day.
Yeah, it's Charlie Day. Charlie Day's in there.
Imagine him being known for the Mario movie for the rest of his life. Be crazy.
That'd be pretty funny. But yeah, no, man. I mean, it's just some crazy shit. Crazy movies, crazy TV shows, a lot of funny things. Invincible season 2 is airing right now. I haven't watched any of it.
It's pretty
You
good.
said you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good. There's a bunch of simulcast happening in the anime scene, such as I think new season of Spy Family, and I think there is a new season. I know there's a new season of Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't know if it's finished yet or not.
I gotta watch that.
Um,
I've seen the first
and
season.
and I mean the finale of AOT came out. Haven't seen that yet either. Need to finish that. You got like, you know, there's a bunch of things happening. There's a bunch of things coming out. A bunch of things moving. It feels like there's too much to pay attention to sometimes, but you know, such is life.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. Squad. I talk about Squad a lot. I don't remember if I talked about the new infantry update or not, but it's a good update. A good
Has it been
video
that
game.
long?
Very good game. Yeah, it's a fun video game. There's a new update coming out. They introduced the Turkish forces, and with that, they also added under the Turkish forces a new grenadier class that comes with an actual 6-tube grenade launcher and not an
Ooh.
underslung one, which is pretty sick.
That is neat.
So
I didn't know about that.
They also added a new SMG, which is on the Turkish forces, and also within a few classes under the French forces as well. Adding some new maps and some things. And Postscriptum also got some development back going on. So Postscriptum is now under the same development team as Squad,
I didn't know
which
that.
is sick. Yep. Very neat, very neat, very
That is-
neat. Very good things
that is
happening.
quite neat.
Arma Reforger came out with 1.0. So
Is
if
that
you
good?
like the Arma games and you want to fund Arma 4, get that. Arma Reforger is a way of funding Arma 4, basically, and a way to get mods in engine before the game releases.
Okay.
So if you are not an Arma fanatic or don't want to support Arma 4, it's probably a waste of money. But if you can enjoy Arma and its barest bones, you might enjoy it.
Fair.
Yeah, it's like $30. Just look at it like a way to...
More of a competitive shooter player.
Yeah. It's a weird game, but it's fun. Very pretty. Engine's really good. A lot of good developments with the engine in that game compared to Arma 3 and Arma 2. So I'm excited to see what more they have with that. And Arma 4 has moved to the next stage in development, which is sick too. So that's only counting down. You know, that's only getting closer to coming out.
Yeah.
What am I missing? What have you been playing?
Just kind of a bunch of CS. I started a World of Warcraft classic, hardcore character with a friend of mine.
How's
That's
that
been
going?
fun. It's going okay. We're level 10, so we're pretty early on.
Yeah,
Or we're
shit.
level 8, so we're pretty early on. But we fully expect to have to take multiple tries for this
Yeah.
though, because it's really hard, especially later.
It's Death Knight, right? That puts you at 60
Yeah, in retail. It's,
in retail.
yeah, we're playing classic.
There's no way to start at 60 in classic.
No, you have to level. It takes forever.
So,
And in hardcore, you get 1 life.
yeah. While I'm not a WoW player. I'm not an MMO kind of guy. I played Neverwinter growing up, but that was it.
I felt that.
I like Neverwinter game.
It's a good game.
On game.
I don't think I've really been
know
playing
what
much
else.
else.
I installed Mech Warrior Online. Played a few games of that.
I've never played that.
I've been playing. I reinstalled Cyberpunk 2077. To play it. I started another playthrough. Haven't finished it yet. Because Phantom Liberty came out. I haven't got that yet, but I'm getting to that at some point. I wanted to finish Alan Wake 2 before I got into that. Um, Alan Wake 2, phenomenal video game. I'm shocked I haven't finished it yet, but I feel like the more I don't play that game, the more I want to play that game. And I kind of don't want my want to go away for playing that game, so it's kind of like
I feel
on
that.
this burner where I'll play like a few hours every few days. And it's truly a very refreshing experience. Like I played games growing up, and I played a lot of single player games. I'd go to GameStop, buy 2 games, beat them, take them back by the end of the week, return them, get 2 more games, and the clerks, like, kind of knew me because I was in there so much. They would let me do that a total of like 3 times before making me keep a game, and they wouldn't accept the return again, right?
Right.
So I just like play games, beat them, play story games, beat them, play story games, beat them, and then get a fun multiplayer game I'd like to own, right? So on and so forth. And I kind of repeated that cycle, and at some point within the last like 10 years, gaming has like gone from like what's an experience you can have and enjoy and then maybe want to come back to, but it doesn't matter if you don't come back to it. You can just enjoy it that one time and then, just leave it, right? Like like games now are like fighting for your attention and your hard drive space, especially if you're a console player. I'm fortunate enough to have a PC and like have a bunch of space. I put a bunch of hard drives and shit in this thing, but like if you're trying to play like COD or something, and there's the new Modern Warfare 3, that game it's gonna be like
100 gigabytes.
300 gigabytes
Possibly
if you have
more. Oh my
Modern
God.
Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 on there too. You got all
Such
these
a
things.
huge game. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's insane. And then you got like Apex, which is like 80 gigs. You got Fortnite's pretty big now too. It's like 50 gigs. You got like all these games that are fighting for your attention. Even like when Halo Infinite came out, it was like supposed to be like the new platform for Halo. They're just going to update things instead of making new Halos. They're just going to put stuff out for Halo Infinite. And like I want games to be games again.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
fair.
know. I don't want them to be fighting for my attention. And Alan Wake does exactly that. It elaborates on visual and written storytelling and audible storytelling. It has an engaging story that you don't necessarily change. Don't get me wrong. You got Baldur's Gate, which has great stories, great writing, great everything. Baldur's Gate is a phenomenal game, but it lacks immersion in some cases. It's the way that game's built is it's an isometric RPG, and you can get fully immersed into that game. I'm not saying it's but like Alan Wake is a third-person adventure game. It's a horror survival adventure game, right? And you're running through these areas trying to solve these mysteries as like an FBI detective and a writer. And there's I don't know. It's just a classic, like, it's pretty linear even though it's not specifically linear, and you revisit areas, and you meet people, and you talk to people, and you understand how and why they did that, and then you're piecing this puzzle together. And the visuals you get in some of the areas, it is unlike like any game that I've played. Like there was a scene, or there's like an entire act where you're playing as Alan, and you're in the shadow world, and like you like wake up in your like mind. So you have like a mind area that has a desk, a typewriter, and like a TV, a radio, and like a board, a writing board, a brainstorming board. And you can go to the brainstorming board, and depending on the areas you've discovered, you can change what happens at those areas. So there's plot points. You can change it from like the cult to a murder scene to a I don't know, like it's a starting show of a ticket night, or it's a starting night of a new TV or play or a Broadway show or something, right? And it will change the atmosphere and the setting of that area. So it will change the world around you and open up areas that you couldn't get to before, or show you things you couldn't see. And the way it all interacts with each other is unique. And within this game, or within this act that I was mentioning, you like wake up in your head and you have that storyboard, and then like you write a manuscript, and anything you write is basically like it comes true almost. And Alan's having to write himself out of the dark place. He has to write a story at which he can interact with to get out of the dark place as Scratch, who is also in the form of Alan Wake. He looks exactly like Alan and writes and has the same powers as Alan, is writing at the same time to keep him out and to get Scratch out, to get Scratch out of the dark place. And if Scratch gets out of the dark place, the fucking world ends, basically. Like, it's insane. That guy just can ruin everything. But Alan like wakes up in this like guest room in the back of like a night show, like a Tonight Show, you know, like how like they'll at Tonight shows they'll like go to like the dressing rooms and they'll be like, and tonight we have this guest, and they'll knock on the door and the person will open it and be like, hey, you know, whatever. It's like the dressing room for like whatever. And you wake up in there and there's a TV playing, and on the TV is Alan's face, right? And you go up to it and you hold X. And you become you are now inside the TV. And what's really sick about Alan Wake, I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent about this game, but what's really, what's really good about Alan Wake, or what's really sick, is like all of the actors they use for the in-game characters are real people, right? And they base the in-game characters off the real people themselves too. So
they do that
look,
with a lot of games nowadays.
Yeah, but what's really sick about Alan Wake is they leave live footage in the game, like a lot of live footage, like, and there was an entire section in this act where you're walking around like the back stages and the front stages of this Tonight Show area, and it's changing around and it's becoming this like madhouse theme park, and reality doesn't really have to make sense anymore, and it seems like it's like this seemingly open but closed off room that keeps like having these massive screens, like wall off areas. And while this is happening on these screens and on these like walls that are moving and shifting, is a music video playing.
Oh,
it's like a literal music video of like this like band called the Gods of Asgard, and they're playing this song, and you can see Alan's actor like on the screen like freaking out, and you're playing as Alan. Your character's freaking out, and it's like there's just so much world and storytelling that is so unique to that game and unique to the perspective of that development studio. Like same thing with Control. I've talked about Control so many times on this podcast. Like phenomenal video game series. Phenomenal game. If you haven't played it, try it out. It's beautiful. Also, the gameplay style is kind of like Resident Evil. It feels a lot like Resident Evil to play. So if you like those games and you like mystery, thriller, survival horror games, definitely check it out. But yes, there's a lot of good music in Alan Wake 2. Like a lot of good music, and almost after every act, there's like a little song that plays. But it's neat. I could go on about this forever. There's a janitor that's in Alan Wake that's in Control, which is sick, and that janitor is crazy. It's crazy janitor. Weird. Supernatural. I don't know. I don't understand that guy, but he's in the game, and it's pretty neat. But other than that, I think it's time to move on. Since I have the segue, it's time to move on to music. The music portion of this podcast.
Nice.
I've been listening to a lot of a guy called Evan Marion. But before I start talking about him, do you have any music suggestions, or what have you been listening to recently?
There's this one song I heard recently it was in a Settled video. Actually, there's this dude who makes like RuneScape videos, and
Yeah.
they're really well done and like story. They've all got like a storyline to it. He just finished his really long Tile Man series. It's very good.
Okay.
It's
What's
very
Tile
neat.
Man?
Tile Man is like, so you start, you spawn in, and you're on one like square. Like the entirety of RuneScape's made of like just tiles. You like click on essentially to walk. And
Yeah.
you have to get, I forgot the exact number, but it's like, let's say like 300 experience to unlock another tile. So then you choose. So pretty much he's unlocked. This is like episode 40 essentially. He's like unlocked the
Yeah.
whole game. He can go wherever. Oh, he's also has like a couple other restrictions where he's not allowed to use like the bank or the Grand
Yeah.
Exchange, I think.
Interesting.
But either way, he's doing this whole thing, and the end goal is to beat this last like raid. It's really really difficult. It's very like mechanic heavy. It's just really hard.
Yeah.
You get this cape at the end. And you just finished that. It's very good. Highly recommend that. And at the end, he had this like kind of animation play that kind of went through his whole like journey slowly, and had this song.
Yeah.
It's called Madeline by Good Kid, and it's really good. It's a really good song, and it worked very well for that video.
Very neat.
Big
very
big
neat.
recommend on that series. It's really long. It's like each video is like 30 minutes to an hour.
I will check it out. I will check out the song. Thank you for the recommendation. Is there is there anything else you've been listening to or would like to mention, or is that
I kind of just use the fucking Spotify day list. The Spotify day list is kind of
Yeah.
goated.
I use that a lot too.
It misses
Use that a
sometimes,
lot.
like 10% of the time. It'll just hard miss on a playlist that I just don't like at all. Most of the time,
Yeah.
it gives me some pretty good music though that I like.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Um, for me, I've been listening to, as I said, Evan Marion. He has an album out called Elysian. He's a bass player, and he's very, very good. In the first song, Caliber, on the album Elysian, he has a guest called Tigran Hamasayan. And he is also a very good pianist and musical composer. So if you guys like some video game, or not video games, if you guys like instrumental music, and I mean that's not even strictly instrumental. Tigran Hamasayan like kind of sings, but it's like his singing's usually for harmonic purposes. He's not singing for lyrical reasons. He's singing to like add depth to a chord or something. So like he'll be playing his piano and he'll I don't know, it's crazy. Dude's crazy. One of the biggest brain composers I've heard in a long time. But yeah, no, I'll keep my list short this time. I haven't been listening to too much. I know Arc Echo. Arc Echo released a new album this year, and so did Cohen Sound. And you should definitely check any of those bands out if they sound interesting to you. Arc Echo is a instrumental progressive metal band, but there are some vocals in their newest album, which is pretty neat. And Cohen Sound is a production group that works with sound design and experimental sounds and things. It's pretty neat bands. But yeah, no. Yeah, other than that, I think that's about it. Before we close this out, just a few updates, I guess, on me and school. I'm done with school basically. Next week is my last week until I get my AA, and then I start at my university, and
Let's
I'm
go.
excited. I'm going for journalism, but that's going to be busy, and I'm a little nervous, and I'm hoping to adopt a better schedule, or at least adopt skills to be able to, pertain to a schedule. Like I should just, I need to be able to stick to them. I'm not good at sticking to schedules at all, but that's okay.
Me neither.
But other than that, I mean, we got things moving, grooving. Things are happening. I'm hoping to do more of these. I already got someone to record one with me next week. So next week, look forward to me and Tristan, Lispy Joe himself, coming back
Let's go.
for another round.
It's the
And,
third time? Fourth?
I have no idea.
10th?
Christian's been on this thing so many times.
I've been on here twice.
Tristan, I said. You've been on here twice, not Christian. Tristan. God. Well, thank you, Christian, for coming on. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you for sitting and chatting. It was
It's enjoyable.
a fun
Very
chat.
long Hunger Games
Enjoyable.
talk.
Hunger Games. Hunger Games. All that talking made me hungry.
Get some food.
All that gaming made me starving.
Yeah, I think we should have called it at the. All this talking made me hungry. I'm not gonna lie to you, Chief.
Anywhere. But that is it. I think that is it. Thank you for listening. I will try to, like I said, make my appearances less sporadic, but no promises. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you again. Goodbye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
friends, and get out of my house.